Welcome back. If you didn't watch the song I posted last called Funky Persona, you need to go listen to that right now, because that's what this video is going to be all about. I'll put a link to that song in the description. So a little bit of background. When this whole quarantine stay-at-home business started, my wife and I were literally going insane, and I needed something to do. So I figured out a setup with her old MacBook and my Korg keyboard and MIDI, and I started just making songs in Garageband and posting them to SoundCloud. And I've also been working on a podcast about video games with a friend of mine. I'll also put a link to that below. If you are at all interested in video games, I would highly recommend checking it out. And so it got me thinking about video game music, and my friend Josh, he recommended that I listen to some video game songs and then try to make my own version or something that I think would fit the game or anything like that. So this one is one of those songs that I tried to do. And there's a new game that came out recently called Persona 5 Royal. And I listened to some of the soundtrack, and it kind of had that. Some of the songs had this kind of funky, almost like a spy theme kind of vibe to it. But not quite a spy theme, but definitely like funky rock fusion kind of thing. And so that's what this track is kind of inspired by. So if you haven't listened to it yet, go check that video out. And the remainder of this video is going to be my analysis, taking you through all the bits and pieces of how I managed to cobble this thing together. So I hope you enjoy. Starts off with driving drums, this sound, which is just like clack, clack, like cross stick rim shot thing. And then we've also got this electronic bass drum sound. Come down here to the bass part. Oops, oh, didn't mean to do that. We are in automation mode, my friends. We are going to turn that off by pressing the A button. And now we will not have that mistake happen again. I was trying to just do this. I was just trying to see the notes. Yeah, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. We're in E minor. A little bass groove going on, and then we got this whirly part. Let me show you. There it is. Big old G minor 7 chord. Or, yeah. I'd say E minor. I meant G minor. Gosh, my brain. We're in G minor, friends. This is a bass. This is F and G. I was like, E minor. That doesn't sound right. Why did I say E minor? We are in G minor. All right, let's look at this whirly part. Just G7. And that's just a little bit of planing or modal shifting, whatever you want to call it. If you play jazz piano, you know what I'm talking about. So that's that whirly part, pretty groovy. And then this little melody comes in here. Road sound, EP. Heavy on the delay. Let me show you the notes. Real simple. So we're really just sticking with like G minor blues scale stuff right there. Then we have this clav part. Really fills out the rhythm. Oh, let me show you the notes for that. Just G7, outlining G7 for the most part. Snap. Oh yeah, this button over here If you click that, your view will follow the playhead. This is the playhead here. It'll stay centered. Oh, we're getting into new territory. Not ready to talk about that yet. So that is the beginning part. Me on solo. Yeah. Let me talk about these drums up here. So we already established this guy and this guy. The bass drum and the cross stick rim shot. Then heavy on the 16th note delay tom fill. And if you notice, that happens right as the clav and that little melody thing comes in. So it's a real nice introduction, supporting them. Really cool sound. So let's go back and solo those three. So then let's look at what these are. I honestly, it's been a few weeks since I made this track, so I don't remember exactly what these two are. We're gonna find out. Just bass and snare drum. Backbeat. Yeah, just bass and snare. This one I have EQ'd for the snare drum. So I'm thinking probably what happened was, I don't really remember, but I'm thinking what happened was I recorded this together, bass and snare, EQ'd it to get the snare to sound the way I wanted, but then the bass drum was lacking as a result of that EQ. So I just went ahead and added a bass part to get the bass sound I wanted there. And that's along with this driving quarter note thing here and here. So you can hear a little bit of emphasis on that backbeat underneath the driving quarter notes. So it creates that energy, but also at the same time that halftime backbeat feel. So then I really don't remember what this is. I'm really interested. Oh, hi-hat. Yeah. This is probably this is more fills. This is going to be the same as that. It looks like I copied and pasted. Switch to ride cymbal up here. Some tom stuff. So one thing that's interesting about GarageBand is when you record something, whatever the name of the sound is that you recorded in, that's how it labels the regions. So you see dub smash, pile delay, pile delay, pile delay. So when I recorded this, I must have been using the dub smash sound. But clearly I've changed it to something else. Let's see. The Roots drum kit. Yeah, that's one of my favorite sounds. But it did not change the name of the region, and I haven't bothered to rename it. So it still says dub smash. It's something that kind of drives me crazy. I wish that it would change that. I mean, it makes sense. What I need to do is I just need to be better about renaming them as I go. Like this should be hi-hat, ride, cross stick, snare, bass, quarter note bass, toms. I should name them all those things at some point, but I don't. It's whatever. I know what they are. It makes sense to me. That's all that matters. All right, let's listen to this. All right, you heard that. Let's skip here. Here's where everything comes in. Let's look at this bass part. Just G minor blues. Just interesting rhythm stuff. I'm a drummer, so a lot of the times I lean heavily on rhythmic stuff to make things interesting. So now we have a little bit of a shift. Change to that ride to open things up a little bit, make it sound a little wider, and then we got some different chords going on. We actually have something other than just G minor. So I don't remember what they are. So we're going to analyze this together. It looks like we have E flat major 7 chord, E flat major 7, and then we're going here to a C minor 9. Because we have C, yeah, classic 9 chord right there. C, E flat, G, B flat, D, minor 9 chord. And back here, G minor. And I think it probably just repeats, yeah. E major 7, E flat major 7, I mean. So in G minor, E flat is the 6th chord. C minor 7. G. So we got this like going from the 6th chord down to the minor 4 and then the 1. Fun sound. It's a very like funky spy TV show, you know, Persona 5 Royal, whatever. So, and then clav part, let's take a look at that guy for this part. Just using chord tones and passing tones. G minor. Follow playhead, there it is. Let me make this wider so we can really see what's going on. I watched a video one time about how to play the Superstition theme on the clav, and the guy was like, it's kind of like you're playing bongos, and that was like, in terms of how you're using your fingers, so you can kind of see that. It doesn't come across real well in this. I'll have to take a video of me playing it, but I kind of figure out the chord tones or passing tones I want to use, mostly chord tones, and then pretend I'm, like the guy said in that video I watched like 8 years ago, I don't know, pretend like you're playing the bongos and just kind of play a rhythm using those notes, and then you have that classic, you know, 70s funk or disco clav sound, and it's awesome. Some of the times when it lumps these notes together, they're not actually together. I think it just doesn't know how to notate them properly. This might have been a wrong note. So yeah, I was just going for it, making it sound rhythmic, using chord tones. All right, let's bring this back down. What else we got? What else do we want to talk about? Bass part. Let's look at the bass part. 1 5 1. A little bit of a walk up here to the C. Bo do do do. 7th. Oh, I need to turn off. There we go. Now it'll stop restarting back. Spot. See, there's another one where it's like, should have notated as a grace note almost, but it didn't. Instead, it notated it all together. I think it's not the best for transcribing. It's just GarageBand. If I need to transcribe it, I'll use Finale. Oh, we're back at the beginning. So let's go to here. 5. Ba-ba-doo-doo-doo. You know, just doing like a little movement around the C. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All using, still, most of the stuff though, you can think about it as G minor. So there's the bass part, pretty groovy. What else? Oh, we looked at this. We looked at what's this piano doing? This piano, like interesting melody stuff is what I was going for. I don't know why it's putting all those notes together, because they're not together. So that's kind of like a lead in. Will it show me? There we go. This is here to E flat. That confuses me, it's doubling up those notes. But what's really happening is I'm just using the G minor scale. So for these two, I use sort of G minor or E flat major notes to sort of bend your ear toward the root. And this one I go. That's the 9th there. And on the 9th to kind of make it stand out and make it just sound in tension and not resolve down to the G 100%. With the G chord underneath it, it still sounds pretty resolved. Let's do it. But it leaves a little bit of like this tension in the air, like what's going to happen next. Then it repeats. Leads in well, I think. I think this is what I really wanted. I should have just fixed that. Whatever. They both sound right. And this just repeats. So we looked at the bass part. The drums, we looked at the drums, I think. It's nothing. Nothing earth-shattering. The 16th note delay that I have on makes it sound a lot more interesting than what it actually is. Because if you just look at the notes I'm playing. So, just for kicks, let's, here it is. Let's go here. If I turn off this pedal board, that's where it's at. That's all it is. It sounds lame. It sounds so much better. Alright, so last thing to talk about is these things here. I was kind of playing around with, so I put this song out on SoundCloud, and I didn't include any of these in it. They were all muted. I was trying to figure out like a solo over this second section. And I was just, I don't know, messing around. Mostly trying to find a sound that would fit and work well. I'm just doing that thing where it's not separating a lot of the notes. Probably because they're not perfectly in time, and so it's like, I don't know what to do. I'll just say it's together. Let's look at these other two. So these two, I used my Korg and just had a clean Rhodes sound coming from the Korg. I was messing around with the different amp models that Garageband has. And unfortunately, we won't be able to see the notes because it's not MIDI. But it's more of the same kind of stuff. G blues, E flat major, C minor, probably C blues during the C minor chord. I like this. If I was gonna release a version of this with a solo in it, this would be the one I'd think. Well, I don't know. And then, so for SoundCloud, I didn't have any of that, so it just was gonna go on and on and on forever. So I just track automation down here at the master track, faded it out, turn off the automation again. Let's see what this last one sounds like. Clearly, I realized this was set too low, so I turned it up for this fiddle. I like that sound though. I think that's what I was mostly trying to do, is trying to figure out a good Rhodes sound that had that combination of the clean bell, but also the little bit of grit you get with the amp. It's hard to emulate that. The Korg does a really good job of emulating the Rhodes sound, but doesn't do the best. The SV1 I had doesn't do the best at getting that grit in there when you really want it. It just kind of makes the sound distorted. I like using the amp models in GarageBand with just a little bit of crunch. I really like that sound. I really wish I had money to burn and I would just go ahead and pick up the Korg SV2. That thing looks sweet. But anyway, this one I like better. This one I was just trying to go too ham. Not about that. Yeah. Being ridiculous there. This one's good. should do is let's listen to the rest of it. So what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll just bring this to here, and then I'll well, let's listen to the rest of it. Alright, yeah, we'll just keep it where it was. Command Z, because that was terrible. Alright, so that's it. That's this song. Hope you enjoyed my breakdown. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time, whenever that is.